Hey everyone, it's Michelle here. I want to thank you so much for your comments and your feedback, and especially for those who encourage me to do more car sessions. Interestingly enough, this is kind of like a series that I had been considering launching in a little bit of a different format, but I'm going to go ahead and do it in this format because I consistently have this time available. Something about it being in my car, whether it's for filming or studying or sometimes even working, I guess it's kind of like my she space, even though my whole house technically is. But I'm going to go ahead and launch this series, and this will be something that you can find both on my TikTok channel and my YouTube channel, and I'm just going to call this Car Crashouts. So whenever you see a picture of me and my bag heading to the car, just know we are fixing to crash out. This series won't be just about Coach or bags, but right now it makes sense, especially with the recent retail drop. And then of course today is Thursday, September 4th, so this is the date of the outlet drop. First things first, we got to handle business. I got to show you what my bag of the day is, and this is my Coach cargo shoulder bag. Interestingly enough, I had previously purchased the Coach Western Tabby. I got it in summer sale, got that great deal where it was like $220 off. Love the bag. But I wore it for 2 days and realized I wasn't gonna be able to keep it. I do have scoliosis, and it's actually in my shoulder, and so when bags are super heavy or when they pull away from my center of gravity, it actually causes aching and pain. Long story short, I was able to sell that and make a little bit of money. Don't be mad. I was able to make a little bit of money off of that, and I found there was a seller on Poshmark who had this beautiful cargo shoulder bag, new with tags, listed at half of the retail value. So I snatched it up because this is actually made from the same leather and in the same color and with the similar hardware as the Coach Western Tabby, which I absolutely loved, especially that beautiful burnished amber and that nice thick leather and then suede lined. So I was able to still get a win, and yeah, that's my bag of the day. The other reason why I really like this bag though, as I've mentioned, the Coach Brooklyn is one of my favorite silhouettes, and the only way I feel like it could be made better is if it had an adjustable shoulder strap, which this one does. So that's my bag. I did go to the Coach outlet drop today. I went this morning before work, so it was like I had a list of things to do, and I was like, I was so motivated to get out of bed on time, get my run in, get dressed and ready for work. Went over to the outlet, got to meet a fellow content creator. So hello, Princess. It was great to connect with you, and thank you for buying my wallet. And then I was able to catch up with my sales associate at the outlet. We had previously made an appointment, and she already had the items on hold for me that I was looking to purchase. And then I actually did get one additional item that was kind of unexpected. So while people were crashing out about all this beautiful Coach outlet drop, which I will even say I was very surprised by the quality of the suede bags, I keep thinking and leaning towards suede, and so there must be something that I really want at some point. But the suede bags were beautiful. If you haven't seen any of the items in person, I did film a short that you'll find on my channel that you can look through, where I tried to get like the best natural lighting or the best views of the bag. I was very impressed by the suede terry, both in the beautiful kind of like cognac color and that dark sage green color, which, surprise, but I really loved how they had like the fringe hang tags. I specifically went to the outlet to pick up a bag for my son's girlfriend. She is completely obsessed with cows, and the two of them are working on their life goal, and when they graduate college, they actually want to go and buy a little farm and have some cows, and specifically Highland cows, and she has promised to get one for me, so I had to like give that favor back. So since it's not really wrapped, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. We did get her the Coach terry in the calf hair. So this is a beautiful bag, and you know, she's a pretty practical girl. She's a young lady on the come up. She just did actually turn 18 and also started her first year at college, where she is majoring in construction engineering. So my kids and I wanted to give her something nice that would be kind of like in celebration of her birthday and her college life, right? So all good stuff. And then I did purchase a secret item, which you'll see at some point later on my channel. And then I did finally go ahead and return the embossed Coach Brooklyn and suede and that little turn lock pouch. So I'll feature the item that I got in exchange for that at a later time. But one thing that I thought that I would talk about today is the Coach sales process and how to navigate it as a consumer, especially for some of these Coach drops that are, or collections that a lot of people are really vying for. I will say that I am a reformed or semi-reformed internet shopper. When I first got into the Coach game, I would go over once in a while to see the bags in person. I'm like, nah, I can do it online, because I do have a savings program I use that I could sometimes get like pretty significant money back, like during the holidays. But I realized that that money back didn't mean anything if the bags that I really wanted were gone. So what I think is very interesting, again, coming from a sales background, is the approach that Coach takes to sales. Because when I step back and I look at it and I observe from a, outsider's perspective, and again, I could be totally wrong, and this could just be me, guessing and throwing out conjectures. But I like the way that they kind of model what a lot of luxury or high-end brands do, but they make it more, Coach styled. And I think that it essentially empowers the sales associate to not only build their own clientele base, but to help drive the sale of these drops, and then to help meet the high customer demand based on loyalty. When I first started buying Coach, different associates would approach me like, oh, I can be your associate, I can help you with this, I can help you with that. But in the beginning, I didn't really understand, like, what could they help me with? You could get a bag from the back for me. Okay, that's cool. But I didn't realize how your relationship with your sales associates will evolve over time, and that you can get insights into some of these upcoming drops, upcoming colors, styles, the new events, the private events that Coach will hold. And more importantly, what I learned, especially at the outlet, is if you are a loyal and consistent customer, their managers will approve the sales associates to set up appointments for you, which typically allows you to go in before the store opens and get your items that you're looking to purchase. And knowing that now, that makes so much sense about why some of the items sold out so quickly, like at my store, right? Like, especially when I think back to like the denim drops and like the pink drops, the sales associates have the first rights to set up those appointments. And so if they have, 5-10 customers coming in early in the morning before the store opens, and they're going after those priority items, those of us who have chosen not to connect with the sales associate are just getting what's left, right? And again, this is another innovative part on Coach's part that drives the desirability of their items, because, who doesn't want to get the most sought after item, especially if it's something that personally applies to you. So all that to say, I would definitely recommend, whether you shop at the retail or you shop at the Coach outlet, that you connect with a sales associate as someone who will help you get insights and understanding to the drops, to the styles, someone who can help you get priority appointments. Oftentimes if you're a very loyal customer, they'll hold items for you, and it has drastically improved my sales experience at Coach. I think it's important to always seek to have mutually beneficial relationships. And, I get it. If I'm buying things online, like, why are you going to tell me about other things, right? Because as a sales associate, part of their income is heavily based on the commissions from sales that they make, or whether it's like a store quota. There's some other details. I'm not super informed on that part. I try not to ask people's pocket finances. So I just leave that to what I've garnered from my observation in the little bit that's been shared with me. But I think it's important, like, if they're going to scratch my back and, give me access to this bag that I know everybody wants, and they're going to let me come in at an early time and, make things out of my convenience, then shouldn't I scratch their back in return and continually purchase or maintain that relationship with that sales associate who has, essentially stuck their neck out to help me get those things that I want. So I would just definitely recommend that. Find a sales associate, find a store that you consistently go to. That way people will know your face, they'll know your name. And even if you're not working with just one sales associate, sometimes you might connect with 2 or 3 sales associates depending on the day and what their hourly schedules are or what have you. For instance, for my outlet that I work at, I know the majority of the managers, and I know the head manager, and now I know his area manager. And it's just not necessarily anything that I've tried to force, but I'm a people person, and I appreciate, getting to talk to people and sharing with them. And I think as I've come to the shop there, they've realized that I have a little bit of a Coach collection. And so, we'll kind of sit and talk about some of the different bags. I've let them try some of my bags on, and we've just done different things. And honestly, it's a relationship that is, yes, business oriented, but it's also very genuine. And I would say that that's one of the things that I would definitely encourage. Don't just go up there and kiki in somebody's face to try and get them to give you information. If you're genuinely looking for something, or you're genuinely, trying to, build out your Coach collection, seek to have more genuine connections, because I don't know if anybody's told you, that's what most of us really want in life. That is human nature. And I think when people know that you're approaching them in a very authentic and transparent way, they're more likely to reflect that back to you. And then the relationship is beneficial for both parties. And then it's something that is maintained over the long term. I can tell you, I've gone to my same outlet store for now 4 years. My retail store, I had bounced back and forth between 2 locations, and then I ended up going back to my primary one again. The sales associate I was with had since left, and that's how I connected with my current sales associate. She was just very tuned into my personality and the way that I like to approach sales, and the way I like to approach sales from a consumer standpoint. And she's always very respectful without being overbearing, which I really respect. On top of that, we do have similar styles, and so I can then trust some of her insights and trust that she's not just trying to push me to buy more bags. Because she'll tell me sometimes, we were talking the other day, and she was like, didn't we both say we were going to take a break from buying bags? I was like, you know what? Yeah, but I might have lied, but I appreciate that honesty and not just trying to get me to buy more things, right? Because I do believe that it's important to be, financially responsible and consider our purchases and not just buying into FOMO. What are some other things I would say about the approach to sales? Don't be afraid to ask questions, but don't do it with the expectation that somebody owes you anything. There'll be some times where I go in, and actually recently I was over the weekend, I went to the store outlet to just confirm my appointment was still there. And I ran into the manager, and I was just like, hey, do you think that you can confirm whether this drop that I'm seeing on TikTok is real, right? And, I think ultimately the Coach employees are the experts, and I've appreciated that over time he's validated or invalidated certain things, or let me know no, those are Asia exclusives, we're not going to get those. But also, he's let me put in certain requests hey, if this bag ever comes down or if this ever gets released, please reach out to me and let me know. And the other day when I was asking him to verify that new outlet snake print that everybody was talking about, he was like, tell you what, just send me that through a text, send me that video through a text, and I'll reach back out and let you know. And I was like, okay. So he texted me the next morning and let me know that as far as he could tell, those were not coming to his store that they knew of as of yet, and he'll give me updates if anything changes. So it's always great to have just good real connections. The other thing that I would say is, filming. Okay, let's talk about filming. A lot of people talk about filming and how some stores will let you film and some stores won't let you film. One thing that I've learned and that I've observed is, and that I respect, is if I'm going into a store, which is a place of business where people are working to earn their living, I need to be respectful to whatever their rules are. And generally speaking, a store has the right to refuse service to anyone, right? And I think under that umbrella includes things like filming, because that's for your personal business. And I've heard stores, and I've heard people talk about stores telling them, oh, you can't film in here. So I'll tell you, I don't necessarily know why some of the stores would tell you why you can't film, but I can maybe make some guesses as to why they would. But I'll tell you the way that I approach it is, if I'm going to film, I only film on days when I know I'm buying something. I don't ever just walk into the store and expect them to let me film, which might potentially also include some of their customers and their employees and their place of business. I don't ever film if I'm not purchasing something. And then no matter how many times a location has allowed me to film, I ask each and every time that I film. Because you never know if they have, certain types of shoppers who really don't like when people come in and film. You never know if they have certain managers that are coming in and they don't really want people filming that day. And then I think not everybody films in the same way, right? When I go in and I film, I do my best to avoid having any patrons in my videos. Yeah, some people might edit them out or blur them out, but I think that for like public and personal respect, I don't even want that person to be in my screen, right? So I'll just wait till people pass, or I'll film the areas where nobody's at, or again, I make those appointments in the morning so I can film when I'm one of just a handful of customers inside. And if somebody tells you not to film, please respect that. That is their place of work and that is where they're doing business, and they don't owe you anything. Nobody owes you anything. And I think that's one thing that as consumers, and especially as coach consumers, a lot of us need to settle the blank down. And I don't know why it is, but it's coaches are known to be kind of crazy when it comes to certain things, certain drops. And I think we all need to kind of address our egos a little bit. I've heard some people talk about, well, I'm giving you my money, you owe me this, you owe me that, and they expect to just be treated with some sense of privilege. But at the end of the day, it's a business transaction, right? They're giving you a good or a service and you're giving them money. There is an exchange that is perceivably even. And I really like that in general, we're moving away from this sense of, oh, people who are in retail or people who are selling me something are in service to me and they should just bow down to me. I like that thinking is moving away, but I do still see it pop up every once again. And so I would just encourage, remember, these are employees. These are people who have feelings, who have families, who have livelihoods, and treat them that way. And I guarantee you, what do our moms and our grandmas and our old heads say, right? You attract more ants with sugar than you do with vinegar. So, show people the respect that you want to be given. And I promise you, the more you practice it and the more that you put it in place and in perspective, the better the outcomes that you will get. I say all that to say that when we talk about the success of relationships, whether it's a personal relationship, a business relationship, a friendship, what have you, the core components of a successful relationship is effective communication and willful compromise. You won't get everything that you want, but if you're willing to hear people out, if you're willing to work with people, if you're willing to communicate your wants and your needs, I guarantee you will get some of what you want, or oftentimes most of what you want. And I have really thoroughly enjoyed building these relationships with both my sales associate at the outlet and at the retail store. And as you can see, I have been able to really evolve and improve my collection, especially where it pertains to Coach. I am so much more satisfied with my purchases. My return rate has gone way down. When I tell you, when I used to return bags like it was nobody's business, I was embarrassed of myself, okay? But working with a sales associate has so thoroughly improved my satisfaction and improved my satisfaction with my bags, my collection. And I'm really enjoying where I'm at and what I'm doing with my collection now. So I thank you guys for joining me for this car crash out, and I will see you in the next one.